Drink up.
Sunday morning, dark clouds rising. Oh, there's no sunshine anywhere. Strong winds blowing. God give us wisdom to grasp the message in the air. Oh, if I could have one wish and know that it would come true, I'd wish that God would give us strength to know just what to do. Then we could tear down the fences that fence us all in. Fences created by such evil men. Then we could tear down the fences that fence us all in. Maybe we could walk together again.
Boy, you don't know how good it is to be with you tonight. Welcome back to Lady Babylon Satanic Initiation. Tonight, oh boy, we have something for you tonight. Tonight we have the lace days. We've got a whole world to step into. We're not just going to talk. We're not just going to talk as if we have some kind of authority. We're not going to do that. We're going to step into an entire text. You're going to think I got into my ship and went back in time and wrote this. Because what we have is we have the skin of a lace stace. We get to find out. We get to walk around in that uniform. We get to see what it's all about. We get to bring that forward tonight in Lady Babylon. And then we get to have just a short little prophecy of the eclipse. Wonderful. Welcome to Lady Babylon. Tonight we're going in, but in order to cleanse this place, we're going to have to call up a little bit of fury. We're going to, as the machine is going and we're being transported to the past, we're going to have to bring the sulfur that will cleanse this and make it a sacred space. And tonight I want to do that with the darkness of the Chthon. I want to do it with what is called Holy Sabbath. Holy Sabbath. So tonight, welcome the Furies. Let's bring the eye of justice through the fury. Tonight, we're going to look at the lace stace. This is a two-part series. We're going to begin just from the ground level. We're not going to talk definitions. Well, we will. I'll show you. But We're not going to throw out ideas. We're just going to give you the text and let you figure out who the lay stace is. And it just so happens that we have the lay stace maximum, greatest, most raw. Raw. That's what Lucian tells us. Lucian, 2nd century. He's a Syrian. He is a Syrian. And he is writing some of the greatest, most beautiful Greek ever written. Now, isn't he writing in Syrian? No! He's writing in Greek. Fantastic. Love it. Okay. Now that we have it out of the way, we're dealing with a Greek term tonight. So I want to go back to the text, see where it is. Let's summon him. Bring me number 1, Chewy. Hit it. Oh, this is great. This is Mark 14:48. I want to remind you that Jesus answered and said to them, you come out here against me with all your weapons like I'm a lay stays. That's what he's saying before he gets arrested. It's actually during his arrest, right? If you had the chest cams of the cops that arrested Jesus in that public park with that naked boy, when he's like, oh my God, I'm not a lay stace. So we have to see what is being denied. Let's go to the next star system, shall we? Look at, oh God, you're gonna love this. Yeah, blow this up. What am I bringing you tonight? Are you ready? Somebody's got to write a life of the lay stace, right? We're gonna do it. See, Lucian has got a problem in the opening of this work. And by the way, this is Lucian's Alexander, the false prophet. And Alexander was a real person, just like Lucian. They crossed paths. And Alexander is writing for us. He is writing for us an expose on a man who was doing lots of tricky, nasty things to people, a man who was involved in the trade, a man who could do miracles, a man who had received the knowledge through the apostleship of the one who knows the pharmaca. Yeah, this is great. Let's go. You're going to get into it tonight, guys. We're looking at the lay stace right in the face. Right in the face. This thing is so big. It is so big. You're gonna love this. Wrap your mind around it. All right, here, ship's here. Everybody out. Put on your lace days costume. We have to find out who this guy is. Okay, bring it. What's that? Yeah. So, somebody's got to do this. He's saying, look, I know he's a bad guy, but somebody's got to write about him anyway. Should we be, he's asking, should we be throwing this stuff out there to people when they could hear better things about good people? We should write about it. No. Got to write about them, right? This is going to be helpful for you to see it. That's all it took. And Lucian was off, right? Lucian was off to the races, right? Okay. So let's go. He is not only, he's not just, I just wanted to flash this up there to tell you, look, this guy is not just your regular lace dace either. He's your raw lace dace. Are you ready to see what Lucian really has? What Alexander really has on the inside? You want to see that? This is big, people, right? You can't, He's the one who brings everything. He's the prime example of Leistea. Okay, great. So we've got a great example here, captive, right? Bring up the next one, Chewy. It's going to show us what else is he about, this Leistea. Let's just go back to his history. But before we do, look at the word lays here. Epic for Leia, right? Booty, spoil, especially, etc. Mostly a cattle, right? Okay. Lays, booty, plunder. Next one, please. Yes, and leitzomai. Oh, here's the verb. I tell all my students, go back to the verb and see what the verb does. to seize his booty, to carry off his prey, generally to get by force, to gain, to plunder, to take, to carry someone off, to carry someone off. Fantastic. Fantastic. Are we talking about pirates? I am sorry. If you are still thinking that a Laistace is a buccaneer with a patch and some voodoo that he picked up in the islands, you're in the wrong century. Those don't exist. That's not what we're talking about. Did they trade on the waters? Yes, they did. They did. They traded on the water. Oh, let's just bring him in. This is the guy that we've all been waiting for. This is our Jesus's reflection, right? This is within a century of the events of the cross. Within a century, another one of these guys steps up. Okay, I'm just going to bombard you. I can't take it. Are you ready for the images, guys? Get ready just to absorb these. Chewy, hit me with the next one. Oh, fantastic. So I'm just gonna translate it for you. So he says, Lucian says, let me try to describe for you with my, pen, the exact, dimensions of this guy as I'm able to. And, I'm going to make the picture as explicit as possible. Okay. His body was big. Yeah. And he was beautiful to look at. I mean, this guy was a god when it came to his looks. Truly. No, really. He really was. His skin, it's white. And he doesn't have any of the grown up hair on his chin. He's still got that dewy, hairy stuff on his chin, right? Just that light little peach fuzz. That's mine. I'm adding the peach fuzz, but that's what the Greek is saying there. And then it goes on to say, yeah, what happened? His eyes, I just want to fast forward his eyes. Oh God, you can't look at his eyes. They're Gorgon, man. They're full of the life. Not only are they that, they're entheon. They're entheon. People, look at the third, my Greek students, third to last line from the bottom. Look at the first word, entheon. Do you see what's happening? Right? These are the kind of eyes that we want, right? Give me the next text. Here we go. This is gorgeous. Blow this one up. People, I'm sorry if this gets out of hand. I'm sorry. Okay, so thank you, Lucian. Your testimony is that Alexander was exceptionally handsome and had an amazing look to him. Yeah. And what'd you say about his voice? Hades State. Oh, that's right. He had the sweetest voice, a voice that could enchant you. Okay, this kid has the charisma. We're not talking about an adult. We're talking about somebody who is not yet through puberty. Okay. Wait a minute. You mean we're starting here with a description of the Laistace? Of course we are. Who do you think is trafficking? I'm about to show you this Laistace, Alexander, trafficking children, specifically young boys. Okay, let's go to bring that text up again. The one that, yeah, there we go. Okay. Can we get that out of the way? Yeah, okay. So, Merakion min unetion banu Orion. Okay, so look, when he was, when he was Merax, when he was a Merakios, when he was a little kid, when he wasn't yet quite to the point of his complete bloom, Orion, he was coming into season. Right? Put yourself in the Greek shoes. That's how they're thinking about it. When he was that young lad, they will translate it. The Brits will translate it back from 1850. He was a young lad. Without the beard, a young lad. So the text say. And what happens? Just jump down to the third line. An Eden e pornewe. Everybody in Greek knows. What is that? E pornewe? That means he was prostituting. He was engaging in sexual activity. That's the proper translation. He was engaging in sexual activity before being through puberty. Yes, yes, right? We're talking about the Laestace and the company that is kept by the Laestace. And we're going to start with the apostle. This Alexander is the apostle. Are you ready? So he pornated himself. He went out and look on the next line, Kainsunain. Yeah, he entered into intercourse for cash, for an exchange, right? And he did so with anybody who had the urge. Anybody who had the urge. Okay. He's very smart. Alexander was very smart. Very smart. And he figured out at a young age, he knew what was going to pay the bills. He knew how to make it, and he was going to use his good looks to get there. He was going to use his good looks, right? Unfortunately, Lucian says that wore off. That wore off, and that charm. So when it did, he entered into other aspects of being a Laestace, being an apprentice, and then graduating up to the one who took over the practice. Are you ready for this? You're going to love this, people. We get serpents in here in just a minute. Here, we got to bust through these. Let's bring that same one up. Yep. Okay. And so he's pornating himself, people. And I just want to say, what are the real points here? Yeah. And so one of the people that he was having as a client, a paid client, happened to be a Goes, happened to be a magician. One of his lovers happened to be a magician. And this guy was committed to the practice of magic and epodes and oracles and little gifty gifts done in the act of love. Okay. I'll take that for what it is. And he was also into the cursing of your enemies, into finding payola, stuff like that. These people are not trustworthy. Are they, Amon? No, little Timmy. These people are not trustworthy, right? These are the people that will take those children from their family members. They'll jump on a boat. These guys will boat jack you while you're out there. When your parents leave, here comes the Laestace. All right. It's a robber. Okay, let's keep going. I'm sorry, but it feels so good, people. It feels so good to be in those sources. Oh, it feels so good. Okay. What else is going on here? Oh, yeah, and he knows how to work the lots, right? That's important. And he sees this magician guy, who we're going to find out later is a doctor. This magician guy, he knows all of this, has all this knowledge, and he sees that this young kid has everything it takes, the drive. He's not just beautiful, right? But he has the drive to be able to succeed as a Laestace. Yeah, this kid is the promised Laestace. This kid has the talent. Yeah. You should see who his clients are. You want to know an antiquity? Look at their clients. You got any statues made about you? I don't. They made statues, to Alexander. Where are we talking, by the way? Geographically, we're talking in the south side of the Black Sea, south side of the Euxine, little place called Paphlagonia. It's a wild frontier, but the people there have customs. You don't want to step on any toes. Let's see what Alexander can do up there. As a lay stays. Bring me that text back one more time. I just want to read down to the bottom. Chewy, thanks. Yeah, here we go. And so, what does he do? What does this guy do? He takes him in as a student and he trains him up to be at first like his underling and then his personal assistant and ultimately his deacon. Wait, what? Yeah, his deacon. Wait, I thought that was Christian. It is. It's mystery terms, right? Within the cult. How do you think they're getting these kids? They're drugging them. Yeah, abducting and drugging. Remember the kid Judas that got drugged? We're about to see it again. Remember Philip? There we go. Oh, I don't know how much of that got cut out, but I'll just keep going. Yeah, so he says, look, the guy was a doctor and this guy knew drugs. And then he quotes Homer, right? Because I don't know, Lucian's just got to show everybody he's educated and literate. And how did you show people you were educated in the ancient world? You quoted Homer. You mean you didn't quote the Bible? No, that thing's not around until the 3rd century. Right? No, you don't quote that. You quote Homer. You quote Homer. That shows that you've learned. You've learned your letters. Fantastic. What about those other languages? What other languages? Show me. Bring me. Besides a few fragments of BS, show me some literature. They don't have it because the language is equipped to handle the burden. That's the magic of the Greek. That's the magic. I'm going to show you a word you're not going to believe exists. There's nothing we get like that in English. You're not going to find it in Hebrew. You're not going to find it in Ugaritic. You're not going to find it in any other form of dialect or dialogue anywhere. It's just the pinnacle of linguistic mastery. Ancient Greece, man. It's all women teaching it too. Yep. Bronze Age, late Bronze Age. Whew. Love it. Why do you think they came up with oracles? It's all women. Yep. Love it. Why don't you feminists go out and read your sources and stop giving ridiculous lectures of nothing? Sorry. I won't do that again. Okay, let's go to the next source. Anyway, drugs. Homer was talking, the quote in Homer was about drugs. It was about drugs. And there are some drugs that are really good, strong drugs that are helpful and healing. And there are other drugs, you know what I mean? That'll take you into a place of darkness. It'll bring you into that zone. Woo! Right? That's the kind of stuff that these Bronze Age people are doing. And most famous of them are the women, Medea and Circe. Love it. Okay, look at this quote here. Merakion minunetion panu orayon. Yeah, I just want to focus one more time that he's a child. In our book, he's a child. He's not through puberty yet, right? He's right at the point of ripening. Perfect ripening is how they looked at it. And I mean perfect is in farming perfect, you know. Coming to the point of collection when one goes out and collects the fruit. That's how it's being talked about, you see. Okay. When you start reading Jesus more closely, you're going to now recognize, you're going to see the images that I'm giving you, and you're going to recognize it in his little speeches now to his sheepies. Yes. What are you doing with that woman, Jesus? Okay, go. Bring us the next text, Chewy. Up. Look at this, people. This is time for just a definition of Mayrox. This is a young girl, right? Merakion was the boy, right? But I just want you to see, look how they defined it, you know. lass. Okay, what is a lass? How old is a lass? Uh, Kind of a young, yeah, exactly the age that they're trying to describe that Lucian is giving us. That age of growing into ripeness. Contemplate that for 1 minute, please. Contemplate that. This is how they're aging people. Uh-huh. When did you get to ripeness? When did you become the fruit to be picked? That's how they're looking at it. All right. It's very farming, very agricultural. These people are steeped in it. John Scarborough told me once, he said, never forget, 90% of these people are farmers. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Love it. Love it. Let's go to the next one. What is this one? This is a word break. I just want you to conceptualize this for a minute. Blow that up, Chewy. Yep, that one too. Love it. Look, people. What is musiao? What is musiao? Uh-oh. Look at Roman numeral number 2. To breathe hard, especially during copulation. It comes from a Greek root that means to groan. To groan. You can groan within the rite. You can enter that state of groaning. That bringing out that state is produced through this mousse, through this breath during copulation brings the moan. Okay. You mean they had a word for that? They had a verb for doing that? Yes, they did. I defy you to find something so complex, and so detailed in any other language, including Latin, very much including Latin. The Romans know that. They know that. Even modern classicists know that, right? They know the difference between the Hellenists and the Latinists, right? And I put the medievalists with the Latinists. We know that. I'm back. Look at that. Into the ability through that. So I feel recharged. Should we bring us up with the next source? Let's just hit people. People, don't get scared. It's about to get kind of scary. Kind of, yeah, right. Just remember, he pornated freely. E pornewe. He entered into sexual relations freely. It's very important for you to realize that. Okay. When you start looking at the grooming process of Laestace, and you can see it in Jesus's actions, realize it's all part of the game, right? This is what a Laestace is. Remember, he's raising his hand saying, I am not a Laestace when they arrest him. Okay, let's keep going. Next one. This is going to get a little bit, oh yeah. Okay, people, look, I want to take you somewhere where classicists don't normally take people, into the kind of into the most intimately real of the language that you can possibly get. Let's look at this verse. This is from the Bible, right? And the one who betrayed him, right? This is Mark. The one who betrayed him, right? He gave a sign to the people and he said, look, the one whom I kiss, right? This is the one you should seize, grab him. And right away, straight away, he just walks up to Jesus and he says, hey there, Rabbi. And what does he do? He cataphilasons him. He doesn't philason him. He cataphilasons him. There's a difference. Philason would be he kissed him. Cataphilason, he kissed him aggressively in a sexual manner. Bring me up the next definition. Do you know what Judas did? He was making a point to his lay-stace, wasn't he? He was making a point. Those drugs that he had been giving him and everything. Yeah. What do you think identified him? It was the way Judas kissed him. Yeah. And look at Jesus's reaction. Yeah. Okay. Do what you're here to do. Right? Right? He established that connection with his lay-stace master when he was doing it. Give me that definite. There we go. Where'd the it's yeah, a philema. What is a philema? Let's go to the one underneath that first. Yeah, so kata phileo. Just because people say, "Oh, what are you saying?" Right, and it's an outrageous thing to say. You mean Judas was making out with Jesus? Yeah, and Judas is underage? Yeah, and he's on drugs that Jesus spiked before he ran off into the night. Oh my God, this is a crazy party. You know what I mean? Get all the sheriff's officers here, because what we're doing is, we're getting ready for that transdimensional arrest, right? We've got enough information. All we got to do is get the grand jury. That's all we need to do. And that's what we're getting ready to, right? The final episode. Yes. Fantastic. Season 7 is the ending, by the way, right? Everybody knows that. Fantastic. Let's go. Let's go. It's been such an honor to be able to bring you this information. Go back to philema, though. I actually want to show them that philema. People notice that word for kissing before was also, look at the bottom, especially of an amorous kiss. The kata there is an intensifier, really kissing him, right? Judas walked straight up to him and really kissed him. Yeah, yeah, fantastic. And what is a philema? Don't think that we haven't forgotten about the drugs. Go to the one above that. Watch this, people. Philema. Oh God, what a beautiful word, right? Kisses as prizes in a game, as a symbol. This becomes a symbol of Christian love. It's in the first epistle to the Corinthians. It's a symbol of the love fests. You mean those love fests that the Romans are breaking up because they're all having sex with each other? Yes. And what was the Roman excuse for breaking them up? You can't do that if it's mother and son. Ew. That was the Roman response. They didn't care people were having orgies, right? It was all the incest stuff that was going on with Christians. That was the big problem. Romans were like, look, orgy away. But this is gross what you're doing, right? Cool. Yeah, that somebody got it, right? Yeah, let's go to the philema. No, one more time, the philema. People, I just don't want you to forget the drugs. Look. So what is this symbol of Christian love? Look at number 2, associated with cosmetics, in that environment, they're saying fortasse, it's pharmakon. It's the most likely explanation is that those aren't like cosmetics that you and I think of. They are being applied the same ways, but they're more drug mixtures. Yeah, so pharmakon, classified as pharmakon, right? So what is the association between the love stuff and the drugs? It's all there, right? When he gives Judas that bread with the drug in it, that's the one that causes the oestrus. That's the one that causes the madness in order to enter that Bacchic sexual frenzy. Yeah, fantastic. Cult wise, I'm saying, you know what I mean? It's it's pretty standard though. And Lucian says that, right? He says, look, people, I got to be honest with you. This guy, Alexander, he's a terrible human being. A terrible human being. Yeah. Yeah. But I want to show him to you. I want to show you in vivid detail. He was responsible for a kid getting killed, right? No, it was more than one. It was several slaves getting killed because he thought that they had been reckless and the guy had died somehow and it was their fault, right? It turns out the guy showed up later. And then, in order to cover his tracks, when the kid showed up in public and they were like, hey, dirtbag, look, your kid is here that you killed those other slaves for. He said, oh my God, pick up rocks and stone the little guy. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? When you so want to cover up the reality that you are willing to act atrociously, this is the motive of someone whose reality is breaking down. You fight to push that scaffolding back up. No, I've got all my ideas of who Jesus was and I can't support them anymore. This gets coming down. You do whatever it takes, even if you got to cover that kid in rocks. And they almost did stone him, but fortunately somebody stepped in, right? Some bigwig in the city stepped in and saved the kid, right? This is a lay stace. This is a lay stace. Right. Let's go to the next one. This is depressing, but we're almost through chapter 1. I just want you guys to see. Here's more. So he gets involved. Look, take it down. I actually got to tell. He goes through a couple of partners, and he eventually decides what I have to do is I have to bring back a cult that is telling oracles, some kind of shrine. I have to have it legitimized. He goes through a whole bunch of stuff, ends up with a snake, right? Ends up with a snake that, because of his actions, people are thinking, oh my God, this snake is a prophetic rebirth of Apollo. Yeah, Asclepius, all the power of medicine funneled into the physical manifestation of a serpent. So he's traveling around. He's traveling around with a partner and some women who, Lucian is just straight up, they're looking for some sort of entertainment and, something, okay. They're traveling, they're paying the bills, right? I forgot to mention, these are wealthy women who no longer have husbands, right? And, perhaps they wish to cavort. So he's cavorting on their dime. Apuleius, the author, got prosecuted for this. It's called being a magus. Yeah, okay. So he ends up in Pella, in Macedon. Yeah. And what does he find there? Just tell us what he finds here, this lace days. Yeah. And he finds there these great serpents. And these serpents, I'm just going to translate it. These serpents are there. They're being nourished by the women who are in this complex, and they actually sleep with the children. The serpents, they sleep with the children. And look, you know what happens? These things, and I'm going to give you my translation, right? These things, these serpents, are the ones that they hold up. These are the ones that they stroke. And when they do, when they squeeze them, when they milk them, they are not hostile. And they drink the milk from the teat. They drink the milk from the teat. Yes, that's what it says. In the same fashion as little babies do. Many people have been generated in this way. Wait a minute, people, keep listening up. Many people have been generated this way. And that's why they have that old myth of Olympius, the mother of Alexander, because when she conceived Alexander, she was with a snake. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Okay. When she was conceiving Alexander, do you know what serpents bring? I'm going to look, we're out here with real people from antiquity. We're out here with the real people. Do you know what serpents do? They make you pregnant. They are the masters of fecundity. They are the ones who bring that womb, the life. In the earth go the serpents. Yeah, in the earth go the serpents. Do you know what drugs they're using in the midwife side? Yeah. Guess what? They're using the same ones that Dianic culture on the Black Sea used in delivering children. They used those arrow poisons. Fantastic. The lace, you mean the lace days and the whole business of selling children on the slave market, prostituting children? You mean the whole business of that is rooted in this drug use? Yep. Yeah. Do you know how valuable those drugs are? Yeah. Now don't be surprised. You can take a human being and turn them into a different creation with the right drugs. You mean you can go boy to girl and girl to boy? The snakes will show you how to go boy to girl and girl to boy. And you say, I thought as a human being that this was the first time humanity has ever considered switching genders. No, 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 no. It is older than Jesus. Yes. And don't think that when Lucian tells us that from this legitimate doctor, he calls him a public physician, from this legitimate doctor, he was able to learn amazing drugs. It was the drugs that he got the power of, because those magi, those guys, that's how they work, is with the drugs. That's how they work. Yeah. You can take a person, you can force them into a state. We don't do this today, but let's talk about it just for a second. The Magus, he does. You can take a person, you can even interrogate somebody under the right drugs and get the answers out that you need to get out. You don't have to beat them up. You can put somebody into a state of psychic frenzy. You can put somebody into a psychosis. Imagine if there were a drug that I could give you that would cause you to be insanely psychotic, to the point that before we give you the drug, we're going to tie you down. Now, you mean, whoa, hold on, you guys at Hopkins who were doing the studies and stuff like that, right? You're not even a third of the way there until you are tying down your patients, restraining them, right? You just put them in the bed and you have a music source on, you're playing some Vivaldi. Seriously? You think that you're going to replicate that true experience? No. Until you have them in a psychotic state. After administering to them the drugs rectally through a medical probe, after inducing a death state and then a resurrection state, what do you think this person is going to do? They're going to serve the Great Mother for the rest of time. That's right. They're going to be free. They've been to that Bacchic place. Have you been to that Bacchic place? Have you been there? Have you been filled with the Spirit? No, you haven't. You thought being filled with the Spirit was standing around a group and saying hallelujah, which is a Greek word. You thought it was a Hebrew word. You didn't even know where the heritage of your book was. You people are pathetic. And I'm talking to every Bible scholar out there. I'm talking to every person who steps into the arena as a divinity or as a priest. Yeah, doctor of divinity. It's that meaningless. Bring up the next text, Chewy. That guy deserved that. Okay, let's go to Luke 2:52, kiddies. Here we go. And Jesus came to completion. He matured in Sophia, in wisdom. He ought to. They paid a hell of a lot for his Egyptian education. You know, you got the new king, baby. Yeah. And anyway, what else did he grow in? He grew in Helikia. Helikia. What is Helikia? Let's check that out. With both men and God, he grew in this thing. What is this? Blow this up, Chewy. What a time of life or an age. Ooh, look at number 2. Prime of life. Prime of life. Oh, I see. It is that point of having achieved that maturation. See how you got to get back in their mind? You can't think like we do. You can't think like we do. Yeah. Now, where is he? I want to show you him engaging in the slave trade. Yeah. Is it? Go to the next one. Here we are. Yeah, these are all the drugs, people. Drugs. They're all using drugs. Some of these drugs are really, they'll take you to Wonderland, right? And some of these, whoa, some of these will darken you. Oh, God, I love it. Yeah, you can become one who knows those things. You can inherit that stuff. You can inherit it. It's a knowledge. People, the drug stuff is just a knowledge. When you can walk into a the Empire is jamming our signal. The Empire is jamming a signal. Now, I know some of you thought, perchance, I know that Madam Mary of Screeddom is praying for a miracle. Are you one of the children of Screeddom? We are an affiliate. We are an affiliate of the Sisters of Frustration. Are you one of the Screeders? Don't worry, people. It's almost over. Look what you can become a teacher of this stuff, and that's what he did as a lay stace. He had to enter into his magic power. He had to be able to perfect his maganea. You remember that stuff Philip was using? Oh, guess what comes out of Alexander's mouth? The same stuff that Philip said? The same stuff that Philip said. Oh my God. You know what his father's name was, by the way? Philip. Interesting. Of course, you know, it's a pretty common name, so don't get excited. That's never going to hold up in court, right? You might say, right, maybe he was really old. And when you're associating with child prostitutes, as these people are, you know, things happen. So, especially now, go to the next one. Let's look at what Philip is selecting. Okay, are you ready for this? This is fantastic, and nobody should really blow that one up. Okay, are you ready, people? This is the clincher. This is what everybody's been waiting for. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to get there. Are you ready? Here we go. So, Alexander announced publicly that it was not right to have sex with children, that it was actually impious. But he himself entered into a different direction, right? For to the cities of Pontus and the cities of Paphlagonia, he had it announced that he wanted them to send him the boys, and not just any boys, but it was necessary that they be examined and overseen to the point of containing only boys that were eugenic. That were what? You know what I'm talking about. They got no flaws. They got no flaws. These are perfect boys. What are the kind of boys does he want? He wants the ones that are oraiotatus, right? For those of you who think you know what a laestace is, no, you can't keep up. Oraiotatus. They are the ones who have come to that most ripened stage, and they got to be known for their beauty. Yeah, they got to be known for their beauty. And what did he do? These particular boys that he got as tribute. Now, where do you think these Paphlagonians, where do you think these Paphlagonians and these people who are living in Pontus, this is all along the southern coast of the Black Sea. These are all the Scythian cultures, right? Where do you think these people get children? They're raiders. They're raiders. Shoot, we've seen the Thracians, right? Thracians are openly into it, right? Yeah. So what do? You send the best of the best, the cream of the crop, to Alexander. You send the best of the best. This is what a laestace does. This is the job of the laestace. Right? When somebody tells you that this word appears so many times and it only means this, do you see that when the scaffolding falls from the evidence, it's impossible to hold it up? It can only be. That is the most inaccurate, incorrect statement. I feel bad. I don't want you, my beloved audience. I don't want you, congregation of Satan, to be fooled. I don't want them to get you. I don't want them to pull you into the back alley. I don't want them to. This is my public service to keep you from the depths of the person who finds the reality to be too overwhelming to take. The person who prefers to accept the fantasy, knowing that it is fallen, that it is a false reality, right? Somebody comes to you, my children, and says, all of the examples of this are not that. Listen to what they say. All of the examples. It sounds to me like you don't know what you're doing with a linguistic sword. So stop. Everybody stop. Behold the laestace. Let's go to, we're almost, yes, that one. Yeah, that one. Look, here's a Neonisco on the second line. There's a young boy, Oye Thentes. So they were thinking that this young kid, as he was sailing, was killed. Yeah. Or A on the second line, or they were thinking that he was abducted by pirates. It doesn't mean pirate, by the way. That's a joke. He was abducted by Laystone. Okay. Why would this young, handsome, aristocratic kid be abducted? They were robbers. Do you hear? Do you hear it yet? People, I'm telling you, there are those in this world who are meant to deceive you. They are living in a prison of their own fallacy. Oh my God. But these laestays are pretty cool. Not because of what they do, but because of the incredible impact that it has on the culture. I mean, think about it. Jesus Christ was one of these, or at least he was denying that he was one, crucified between two others. Yeah. I thought those guys were just stealing things. No. You just cut people's hands off for that stuff. Right? Yeah. Yeah. These are the people who control the kid trade. So when Jesus is with all of his children, and please, people, this is making somewhat of an impact. People are waking up to this fact that the apostles are all teenagers. Some of them as young as maybe 10 to 12. Yeah. Yeah. People are getting it. People are getting it. Do we have one more quote from Lucian? And then I want to, yeah. Oh no, this is here. Take it off. Take it off. I want to finish with this flourish. We will have one more next time. We'll talk again. It'll be part 2 of Lucian, because I want to show you we've gotten just up to the point of the snakes, and we didn't finish translating the snake section together, but oh yeah, we did. We did. I just didn't focus on the point. The fertility thing, people. Please don't forget that. Don't forget that. In the whole medical cult, the fertility thing is so important. Drugs, fertility, transformation. It turns out the snake venoms are the hormone analogs. Right? Isn't that gorgeous? Figure out the right recipe and you can switch. You can switch. Oh my God, we need to have this cult, right? It's got, let's just do it right. We got to go to the right doctors. We got to have the right knowledge. We got to proceed accordingly, right? That's how the society is working. All of that is influenced by this child trafficking, this child prostitution antiquity. I know nobody wants to hear the words child prostitute. Nobody wants to, except for a bunch of people in funny chat spaces, right? And funny, weird places, dark places, right? Conspirators, right? Conspiracy. That's who wants to hear this, is the people who believe in the conspiracies. Yeah. Look, people, it just happens to be a fact that your ideas about the whole ritual child rape, yeah, it's there, and it comes through Jesus. Yeah, he's one of them. They crucified him for it with 2 others. They took him out with the crowd yelling, no, do not release Jesus. Crucify that one. Wouldn't it be funny if all Mel Gibson's audience, all of his audience who are watching that crucifixion and watching the people yell at Jesus, isn't it funny? Those people are just the pro-children people, right? Those people are you. You modern Christians, you modern evangelicals, you have more in common with the people who were insisting Jesus be crucified. Yeah, the dude was arrested with a naked kid. Are you going to stand with Jesus now? Are you going to stand? People want me to ask, are you going to stand with Jesus now? Yeah. In all good conscience? No. Right? Hail Satan. Yeah. Hail Satan. Yeah. You don't see Satan out there, do you? You don't see him staying himself all over the place. That's the Son of God doing that. Yeah. Whew. Okay. Next time you give the devil any sort of trash. That's what we got. Let's go to that. I'm going to give you a bonus. Here it is, people. Are you ready? There's an eclipse coming up. So I just thought I'd bring some eclipse Greek. Take it. Yeah, go ahead, leave it up. This guy's is from Archilochus, who is 7th century. He's a lyric poet, right? 7th century. He's creating hymns. For those of you who want to find out the relevance, he's creating hymns to Bacchus. Iobache, he addresses him as Iobache. right? And Archilochus, very famous guy, he made people commit suicide with his poetry. That's how good he was. But he met his father one day told him, "Hey, go out, Archilochus, and get the cows." He went out to get the cows, found a group of beautiful women, and they exchanged his cows for a lyre. A lyre, right? Isn't that nice? So he took it home and he started playing music. Anyway, he became one of the most famous musicians of his time, and he was called by the oracle a servant of the muse, right? And was acknowledged, right? If you get acknowledged at the oracular level, right, in the 7th century, that is a huge deal. The only reason that you and I, take it down for 1 second, the only reason that you and I have ever heard of Socrates, Plato, and I would argue Aristotle too, although Aristotle may have made it on his own. But Socrates and Plato, the only reason you have ever heard those names is because an oracle said, he's the wisest guy in Athens. Yeah, right. He knows that he doesn't know. He's the wisest guy in Athens. Nobody, he would have never been famous. So there are oracles that are that are moving society forward like this, and Archilochus is recognized. But let's see what he says about the eclipse. I'll just translate it for you. Chewy, let's go into hyperdrive here. Boom. Yeah. So there is no longer anything that's unhoped for, unimaginable. There's no sort of wonder since Zeus, the father of Olympus, made the sun dark in the middle of the day. He hid that shining sun, and now humanity is terrified. Now we know that all things we trust in all of those things we hope in, those can happen. Don't let any one of you who looks upon this eclipse, don't let any one of you wonder when the dolphins get up and go to the forests and the beasts of the field run into the sea. Don't let anyone wonder. Thank you for coming tonight. Next time, we're going to look in part 2 at the great serpent god. The great serpent god. We've seen the queen, and we get to go through such a beautiful avenue. We get to go through Olympias. We get to go through that sacred woman doing a sacred act. Oh, you're going to love it. And when you see it, you're going to realize why Jesus was saying, I am not one of these. Thank you for coming. I'm going to call the evening an evening. I'm not going to be able to go to a Discord after this. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your time. And I appreciate all of the input that everybody has and your comments, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Emails, love that stuff. I'm not making a penny off of it. Devil won't let me. Thank you very much for coming. Hail Satan.
Tear down the fences that fence us all in. Fences created by such evil men that we could tear down the fences that fence us all in. Maybe we could walk together again. Just maybe we could walk together again.